Okay, good morning, everybody. This is Nicole Whitlock with eCom Sellers, and my passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey, helping them to get focused, stay consistent, helping them to build a schedule, get organized, and plan for their future success. So, this is the weekly ecom planning session where we actually build our schedule, our plan, our strategy for the next week. And we are live on Clubhouse. We're also live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. This is actually one of my favorite sessions because it's all about everything you need to do this week, this today to make next week successful. It's all about making progress every single week in your business so that you can reach your goals, whatever those goals are. And if you don't have goals established, then you can work on establishing the goals. So we do this every Saturday. Please share this out with a friend or invite a friend out to come check it out. Let them know about the weekly planning session because it is around being making intentional actions and taking intentional actions every single week and every single day to help you reach your own long-term goals. So when you think about it, indirectly sort of connected to weight loss, if you think about it. Because you don't just wake up one day and just be a millionaire. You don't just wake up and have a successful e commerce business. It takes work every single day. And so when you think about weight loss, you don't just wake up and you've lost 100 pounds. It takes intentional action every single day over time in order for you to get to that weight loss. It's a combination of eating right, getting rest, sleeping, getting exercise, all of those things combined every single day. The actions you take every day help you ultimately get to that goal of that 100-pound weight loss. So, same thing with your e commerce business. It is all the actions you take every single day over time that ultimately help you get to that $1 million seller status or whatever status you're trying to get to. So, again, this is the weekly planning session, and I really enjoy this session. So, if you need help on your e commerce journey, you need someone to support you, to guide you, to help you on this journey, I am here for you. I'll be your biggest cheerleader. You can schedule a free 20-minute coaching session if you want to sit down and go over your schedule, look at your plan, maybe take some action to improve some of the things you're doing in your business that maybe are not helping you to get where you want to be. So you can schedule that by going to ecomsellers.com, clicking on freebies, and scheduling a free 20-minute coaching session. If you are looking to, um, get more organized, do a better job of planning, uh, build some structure into your business. You kind of feel like I started this off as a hobby. I guess I better make it into a real business. Then I encourage you to grab the My Ecom Planner. It was a planner created for sellers by sellers, and it's designed to help you to track your progress and to help you sustain momentum in your business. So you can go to myecomplanner.com right now, grab the My Ecom Planner. We have the digital version that is on sale at 40% off. You can grab that right now, or you can get the physical version. Either one. But again, it is created for sellers by sellers, and you will track everything in that in that planner. And it'll also give you a lot of different product ideas and help you to determine where you want to go in your business. So grab the My Ecom Planner. And then next, if you need some support as an e-commerce seller, whether you're selling on Amazon, eBay, Etsy, Shopify, Walmart, Mercari, Facebook Marketplace, Google Shopping, Poshmark, any of the main marketplaces, you can get the support that you need on that e-commerce journey by going to ecomsellersacademy.com and joining at $17.99 a month, where you'll gain access to all of our weekly training sessions, all of our live weekly training sessions, live weekly coaching. We have over 200 training videos in our library. In the membership side, you'll get a free retail and online arbitrage list every single week of 10 products where you can go source and sell right now. In addition to that, you'll gain access to our um, 10 weekly wholesale supplier list. So you can start building out your wholesale supplier, um, you know, build out your list, your catalog of potential products and suppliers that you can work with. So there's so many other things that you'll get as an Academy member, including discounts from Ecom Sellers. You can go to ecomsellersacademy.com to join and become an Academy member. So, as I mentioned before, we're live in the e-commerce planning Facebook group. We're also live on Clubhouse. And you can download the weekly planning checklist. So go grab it now. It's inside of the e-commerce planning Facebook group. Go to the files section and download the weekly planning session. You can also download the daily and the monthly from there as well in the file section, and you can use it to help you on your journey as an e-commerce seller. So we're going to go through this checklist, and by the end of the checklist, you'll know what you need to do in order to ensure that you have a successful next week. Next week is the second full week of June, sort of a big deal. You are getting closer to the end of Q2, so it's time for you to continually take intentional steps. Uh, Make sure that you're engaging in the activities that are going to help you to finish strong for Q2. So, since it is still Q2 and you're on the tail end of it, this is the second full week. Let's make it count. In addition to that, you're about to round into Q3. And so, when we do our monthly planning session, we do that at the end of the month, the last Sunday of the month, and we will be planning, for Q3. So important. We'll be planning for Q3. So, I believe that I do have sound somehow yesterday. All of the sound on my computer, like none of the sound cards were working. So it was very interesting. I couldn't do anything. But in any case, I think we're good to go now. So let's go ahead and get started. So if you download the document from the e-commerce planning Facebook group, you'll be able to see the planning checklist. So the first thing we're going to start with is one, I'm going to encourage you to go grab a notebook and pen. So if you don't have a notebook and pen, go grab that. If you have your eCom planner, get your eCom planner out and let's get started. We're going to go and in the back of the book, you have the opportunity in the weekly planning section to put some of the information that we're going to do a brain dump on. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to build a template. We're going to build a template for the week. This is going to help you. It's going to give you a little bit of guidance on what you should be focusing on every single week. Now, it is a high level activity kind of template. And what you're going to do is you're going to use this template to build your actual schedule. So building the template is probably the hardest part. Building the actual schedule gets really easy after you build the template. So you'll use this template every week for a few weeks. I personally have probably 4 different templates, sometimes 5, depends on what's going on. And the reason I have different templates is because I have a template that I use for the summer when the kids are out of school. I have a template when school's in session. I have a template when it's Q4, and I have a template that I use for when track starts. My son runs track, and so that way I'll be able to help take him to games and track meets and all that other stuff. So I have different templates, and it'll make so much more sense as we get into it. So you may have multiple templates. You may have 5 or 6 or 7, and it's okay. You use them for different times of the year, and it kind of gives you a guide on what are the things you're going to be doing for the week and what you're going to be focusing your energies on. Okay? So the first thing, step 1 of this process, is we're going to do what's called a brain dump. You can use a Google Sheet. I always love using Google Sheets. That's one of the easiest way to start the process of the brain dump. So if you have a Gmail account, you can go to the Rubik's Cube. I call it the Rubik's Cube. It's in the upper right-hand corner where it has the 9 dots cluster. And you click on that and you will choose Google Drive. Once you click on that, you'll see a bunch of different options. Google Drive will be one of them, or Drive will be one of them. Once you choose Drive, you'll go over to the left-hand side, and you'll click on, there's a plus over on that side, in the upper left-hand corner, just below the menu bar. And you're going to choose, once you click on the plus, you're going to click on Google Sheets. This will give you a blank Google Sheet. It looks like an Excel spreadsheet. And so you will use this Excel spreadsheet or this Google Sheet to do a brain dump. You can also, again, put this stuff inside of the eCom planner if you have it. You can get the digital version. But once we have a blank Google Sheet, it's going to be green in color. And so you'll choose the Google Sheets. You're going to create 2 folder tabs. The folder tabs at the bottom left-hand corner. So at the very bottom, you have one that says Sheet 1. And if you click on the plus that's next to the word Sheet 1, it will give you a second sheet. And so you'll have Sheet 2. On Sheet 1, we're going to put our brain dump. So you can left click on that sheet 1 name label and rename it to brain dump. Then sheet 2, we're going to call that weekly template. So you can left click on the words sheet 2 and choose the rename option and rename that to weekly template. So now you have two sheets that you're going to be working in. The first one we're going to work in is the brain dump. So what are we putting in the brain dump? We're putting a bunch of stuff in the brain dump. You're going to have multiple columns. So your columns go across the top, your A, B, C, D, E, F, G, all of those. So in column A, we're going to write already do, or you can write down the things that you currently do. Either one, whichever one you want to rename it that way. So we're either going to call it already do as the top. It's in cell A1. You say already do, or currently do, or however you want to name it, existing. And then next to that in column B and C, we're going to leave those blank. You may even want to leave column D blank too, but we're going to leave column C and D blank. Then we're going to go over to column D and we're going to write need or must do. These are important activities that are critical to the success of your business. These are things that you really need to be doing in your business to be a successful e-commerce seller. So that's the header for that column. In column D1, you're going to write need or must do, one or the other. These are things that you really need to be doing in your business. So then we're going to leave some space next to column was D, E, F. We're going to leave E and F blank, and we're going to move over to G. And in G, we're going to write down should do or I want to do. However you want to label that, that's going to go in G1, and you're going to write should do or want to do. Whichever one of those feels good to you, write those down. So we're separating out as we do this brain dump. And again, it's just a list of thoughts, actions, activities that you feel like I either already do in my business or my life. We're going to include life in this. Already do in my business, should do in my business or my life, or need to do in my business or my life. Okay. So let's separate out the already from the need to from the should do. Let's do that. So once you have that spreadsheet done, and if you're using like a notebook or whatever, that's fine. You can create columns and work from there. If you want to use blank sheets, if you got a spiral notebook from your kids, like been in school and you have a bunch of spiral notebooks, so they brought back everything that was in their locker or their desk, you can break out that spiral notebook and create a separate sheet for each one of them. If that works for you, you decide. Then after you do that, now we're going to be thinking about, before we get deep into the throes of our business, we're going to be thinking about our personal life. Because I believe that in order for you to build a successful e-commerce schedule, you got to account for where your time and energy is going. And look, everyone has a life. Even those people that, just sit around and watch paint dry have a life. I mean, I feel like they do. But, there are things that you are doing. So you have, if the Lord says the same, all of us have the same 24 hours in the day. Of those 24 hours, we're at least awake 18 to 16 of those hours, maybe 19 to 16 of those hours. So we're awake several of those hours. What are we doing with that awake time? What are we doing with that 18 to 19 hours or 16 hours? What are we doing with it? And so you're not spending 19 hours working in your business. You're not spending 18 or 16 hours working in your business. Your life involves all the stuff that has nothing to do with business and everything that has everything to do with business. So maybe you work in your business 8 hours a day. Maybe you're able to be at home and you're working from home and you're able to do that. So you still have 10 other hours that you're doing stuff with. And what I have found is that if people that have a hard time continuing this e-commerce journey haven't taken the opportunity to organize their life enough to where they can make e-commerce work for them. So the goal here is to get organized, to get focused, to start planning and taking some intentional steps to ensure that you're making time to do e-commerce. Okay? So what are the things that you're doing in your personal life? Let's talk about, your spiritual journey. Maybe you're religious and you like to meditate in the mornings and read the Bible. Maybe you like to, you go to church, you go to Sunday worship, and you also go to Bible study on Wednesdays, okay, fine. Or you're part of a life group. If all of those things are happening, you have some dedicated time that's already taken up every single day or every single week in your life. So again, we're accounting for where the time is going. So if the time is going towards that, if you're spending, an hour, 2 hours at church on Sunday and an hour or 2 hours on Wednesday with your life group or your Bible study group, and you're spending 30 minutes every morning meditating, okay, we're whittling away at that 18 to 16 hours. So it's like math. We're going to be subtracting from that number. Because again, we do want to make sure we have time allotted for sleep or rest. Okay. So however much sleep you get, 6 to 8 hours, I hope you get 8 hours. But if you don't, sometimes we don't get that. I know I don't, which is bad. Um, so under the already do, write down the things that you do in your personal life when it comes to your spiritual journey, or maybe it's not a spiritual journey for you and you're atheist, whatever works for you. Put that down because that's a time that's allotted, that's already taken up. Okay. If there's things that you want to start doing, you need to start doing, you really feel like, I need to start making some adjustments in my life. And I really do want to start getting up in the morning and starting my day with prayer, or my evening with prayer before I go to bed, or I want to go to church, or I want to go to Bible study, or whatever it happens to be, then put it under your want to do column or should do. If you feel really passionate about it and you want to intentionally make time, no matter what, to do this thing, you feel like it's critical to your success, you feel like it is one of those things that is going to serve you well. Because as we go through this process, we're going to determine, we're going to look at and evaluate, are these things that are serving us well or not? Some of the actions and activities that you engage in on a daily basis may not be serving your business well. It may not even be serving your life well. So what are the things that are serving you well? And we're going to evaluate that. So in addition to that, we're going to go through and look at our personal life. So are there things we do on a personal basis every single day or every week? Maybe you're a person that likes to get up and read motivational books. And so you like to have that quiet time to read that book. That's still time that you're subtracting from your available time for the day. So that matters. So let's account for that time. Maybe there's some other things that you do on a personal basis. You could be caring for an aging parent, and so you're going to the nursing home or memory care facility every single day, every single week. You're spending time doing those things. It is part of your journey. And so it's stuff that you already do, or something you feel like you need to start doing. So what are the personal things that you do in your life right now that are important to you, that you don't want to stop doing, or you feel like they serve you well, or that are a priority? Okay. So they have 3 different columns to choose from: already do, need to do, should do. Figure it out. Financial, again, what are the things that you're doing? So if you're a person that does not reconcile your bank account every single week or every single day or every single month, you feel like, you know what? My problem is at the end of the month, I never have any money because I don't know where it's going, because I need to get my expenses under control. So you either put this under the should do, or you feel like you need to do, like, this is a priority. This is urgent. This is a habit I've had, for all my life. I'm 60 years old and I have no money saved because of my spending habits my entire life. This is now a priority and I need to put it under the need column. Okay. Must do. I can't ignore it anymore. Or maybe, again, there could be other financial aspects. Maybe you're investing in cryptocurrency. Maybe you're investing in stocks. Maybe there's other things that you're doing from a financial standpoint that you're saving for vacations or whatever. So you want to go reconcile and make sure you have the money that you've set aside, all of those things. So if that's time that you're committing to every week, then it's something that you're already doing. So we're subtracting that from your available time. So we want to make sure that we make a note of that. Okay. So put it under whichever appropriate column. Health and fitness. Again, this could be doctor's appointments. This could be meal prep. This could be exercise. This could be any number of things. Going for a walk, drinking water, all the things that you feel like from a health and fitness standpoint are going to improve your life or serve your life better. So we're going to write those things down. You're going to put them under the appropriate column. If you're already getting up every morning and going for a walk, kudos to you. Or you're going to go exercise, you're going to the gym. It's one of those things that you do every single day, and you feel like, my day is just not the same when I don't get up and exercise. Then again, put it under the appropriate column. It's something that you already do, fantastic. If it's something you feel like I am getting up in age, or maybe I have to reclaim my health, and so it's really something I need to do or must do, but I have not made it a priority. And so now I'm going to intentionally make it a priority by building a schedule that incorporates it. Or it's something you feel like you should do. Maybe you don't feel like it's a priority, but it's important. Okay. And then the next one is family and household. So, what are those things that you're doing that are family and household? Spending time with your family is so important. If you have family game night, Friday game night, movie night, whatever it happens to be, going taking the kids to the park, taking them to their soccer practice or tennis practice or art class or music class or whatever it happens to be, doing meal prep for the week. So you got to go grocery shopping. So putting that on the list, cleaning the house, all of those things, your morning routine, your evening routine. There are things that you do in your life that are not related to your business. Again, God blesses us with 24 hours in a day. Of those 24 hours, what are you doing with your 18 to 16 hours that you're awake? What are you doing? So making your family a priority is extremely important. So what are the things that you're already doing when it comes to your family? Write those down and write down when you're doing them. Um, which day, and if there's a specific time, like soccer practice, it's always on Saturdays at 8 o'clock. Okay, write it down. So we're writing down the things we already do, need to do, should do. Okay, got it? So now we're going to get into the business side of it, and now we're going to break that down. From the business side of it, there's a lot of activities. So I'm going to run through them, and I want you to think about them and you figure out where they go. So one of the things I do in my business is I do what's called advanced planning. I think about the next 2 to 20 weeks. You actually could expand that and say the next 2 to 32 weeks, if I'm going to be honest. Because I'm really thinking about, sourcing for that period of time. Why? Well, we're still in a pandemic, but the start of that pandemic, there was a problem with the supply chain. So getting your inventory in time became a little bit of a problem, became a little bit of a hassle. So instead of thinking about your normal routine that maybe you've been selling I've been selling since 2014 online, 2008 offline. Okay. So maybe in your early journey, you've always ordered your inventory 16 weeks or 20 weeks in advance and it worked for you. Well, in this new situation, maybe that's not enough time. Maybe you need to order your stuff earlier. So again, thinking about what are the things that I need to source, or sorry, where am I sourcing from? Who am I sourcing from over the next 2 to 20 weeks? Okay. Some advanced planning, reaching out to your wholesale suppliers in advance. You feel like that's something you don't do, and you feel like you need to start doing it because you feel like it's going to make a difference in your business. It's going to serve your business well. It's going to be a priority. It's one of the things you feel like is not working well right now and you need to change it. Then put it down under the appropriate column. I want to start doing it, or I need to start doing it. Thinking about upcoming holidays and events and seasons and activities. We have all of the things from, the basketball playoffs, the World Series, to the Super Bowl, to, the golfing championships and the tennis championships. US loves sports. We do. And then we love holidays. So we think about the holidays that are coming up and the movies that are coming out and the seasons that we're about to go into. So technically, we're about to go into summer, even though we are already there on the calendar. Summer's coming up. Okay. But as far as we're concerned, it's already here. So there's some things that, from a sourcing standpoint, that are going to matter, that probably we should be sourcing. Now, if you're just now sourcing for summer, can you still make money? Yeah, people are going to still be buying stuff. 4th of July is coming up. They're going to buy some stuff to get together for the 4th of July. They're going to buy some stuff to have that last little shindig before school starts again. So they're going to buy stuff. But for me, I'm always thinking about, once summer starts, I'm thinking about the fall. Once fall starts, I'm thinking about the winter. Once winter starts, I'm thinking about the spring. So from a sourcing standpoint, I'm thinking about the next major season. I also think about the next quarter. So when I am in quarter 2, I'm thinking about sourcing for stuff that's happening in quarter three. When I am in quarter three, I am thinking about sourcing for things that are happening in quarter four. So again, same mentality, always a quarter ahead. And that's part of my planning and sourcing strategy. So what's yours? Maybe you don't have one. You're like, this is the time for me to pull one together because I really have not done a great job of this. I think I could 10x my business if I did a better job planning. So write down those things. Are you identifying your replenishables that are really serving you well? The products that are serving you well. Do you have backups for them? Who's the supplier for those things? So the replenishables are the things that sell over and over again, no matter what. Now, I will tell you, there's replenishables for every season and there's replenishables for every quarter. So are you paying attention to that? Are you tracking that? If you're not, maybe that's something that you should be doing, or maybe that's something that you need to be doing if you're trying to 10x your sales or 5x your sales, or just double your sales. Okay. Are you thinking about consumables? So as we are going into quarter three, we know that quarter four, there's going to be a lot of food items that are going to be sold. Candy for Halloween, all the stuff around Thanksgiving, all the stuff around Christmas. Like, it's going to be bananas. So consumables are going to sell like hotcakes in quarter four. Have you gone back and looked at your data historically? Are you making a note of these things? So again, thinking in advance. So wholesale drop shipping opportunities. What are those drop shipping opportunities that are coming up and that you need to be looking at? Who are those drop ship suppliers that you're working with? Have you looked at their shipping times? Have they put out any communication about what they're anticipating things will be like for Q4? If not, it doesn't hurt to reach out to them. I mean, like, it doesn't hurt to reach out to any of your wholesale suppliers. It doesn't hurt to maybe submit a question to whoever your drop ship suppliers and ask them if you anticipate any kinks in your supply coming up. Again, are these things that you're doing? Maybe you're not. Maybe these are things you should be doing. So we're writing these things down under different columns. Sometimes it feels like it might actually become a complete sentence instead of something that just goes into one cell on a spreadsheet. But write down as much as possible so you can remember what it is. And then other things around private label or white label opportunities. If you're a private label seller, fantastic. That's great. Maybe you have a private label product that sells all the time. But as you go through the different seasons or you go through the different quarters, are there opportunities to bundle your product or to sell more quantities or to, find a complementary product to go with your existing private label product? So think about that. So figure out which one of the three columns it goes in and write all the things down that are applicable. Next is research-related activities. So product research, listing research, keyword research. Are you doing these things? Are you not doing these things? Do you feel like you need to do a better job of it? So if you feel like you need to do a better job, you feel like you're doing some product research, but it's kind of sketchy and shady and, it's kind of thin. It's paper thin. So you just really not doing a bunch of product research. You're just doing just enough to get a sale of some type. Whereas you could probably 10x your sales if you were a little more intentional about doing product research. Same thing with listing research, putting those, creating a listing, the title that is something that people are searching for or doing a better job of with the description. Do you feel like there's some things you could do to improve there? Or do you feel like you do this pretty well? The other thing is, we'll talk about listings in just a second, but the activity of listing is next. But what are those opportunities that you have around listings that you feel like you could improve? And then same thing with keyword research. If you feel like your keyword research is not as strong as it could be, this is an opportunity for you to improve that. So let's write it down as something that we want to start doing or we need to start doing a little bit better. That may ultimately become an education opportunity, and we'll get to that. The next one is listing activity. So listing is the lifeblood of your business. You don't make any money as an online seller if you're selling physical products if you're not creating listings. If a listing doesn't exist, you're not in business. You're just watching a bunch of videos and thinking about a business. Okay? So you might as well just be watching Netflix or getting popcorn and just going to the big movie theater because you're not doing anything. It requires you to take action in order to make money. So you have to have listings in order to sell products. If you don't have listings, that's a problem. You don't have a business. So you should be creating listings every single day. You need to be creating listings, okay? Depending on your business model. I will tell you that the majority of the business models, you really need to be creating a listing every single day. Now, if you have a private label product and it's been serving you well for a long time, you're not necessarily creating a new listing for that. But that doesn't mean that there's an opportunity for you to sell some other products. So again, listing is an activity that can actually help you get more organic traffic to your listings on almost every single platform, on every single, most of the platforms. The algorithm loves new listings. It just does. So creating new listings, that means you got to be doing a better job of product research and sourcing. See how all that goes together? Um, what are you doing with your titles? Or what are you doing with your descriptions? Do you feel like you can improve your images? Are you only putting one image up, or are you trying to take advantage of all the image options that you have available for each one of the platforms? Do you feel like you're doing a really good job of pricing, or are you just haphazardly figuring out your price? Are you cross-listing, taking the opportunity to cross-list across multiple platforms using cross-listing tools? Or do you have omni-channel, multi-channel tools to actually help you to put the listings up on other channels and bring them down automatically? So, what are you doing there? And then are you creating videos to go with your products? People are visual. Voyeurism is a huge thing. And so people are buying online. They have the attention span of a gnat. So they've got a great image to attract them, a good title to help them to see, oh, this is something I can use. It elicits an emotion of some type, makes the person want to potentially maybe impulse buy, or just buy in general because your product serves a need. And then having a video just to bring it on home and close that deal, so you don't have the abandoned cart situation. Again, videos. Are you doing that? Are you not? So write down the things that you feel like are in the need to do column, or in the want to do column, or you already do column, that you feel like you do a really good job. If you're doing a good job with creating your listings, titles, descriptions, images, then that's fantastic. Put them under the already do. But if you feel like there's an opportunity to improve any aspect of that, or to do it better, or to be more intentional about it, because right now, maybe again, if you're paper thin, then let's put them under the appropriate columns. We want to get better on this journey. The next thing is shipping related activities. So if you're shipping yourself physically to your customers, or you're shipping, then that's fine. Some people like doing seller fulfilled, merchant fulfilled, and so they are satisfied with fulfilling the orders themselves. So if you're fulfilling the orders themselves, are you checking to see if you have sales every single day and to make sure that your orders get shipped out? Yes or no? Um, if you're using a fulfillment center, are you doing FBA? Are you doing WFS? Are you shipping stuff to those warehouses? And are you confirming that the shipments get checked in, or you just ship it off and then you just assume that everything is happening the way it's supposed to? Or are actually following up to check to see that things are happening or not happening? Probably should follow up. You run a business. Like, I can tell you, if McDonald's managers ordered hamburger buns and ordered meat, and they placed the order, they're going to track that shipment because they need to make sure that those hamburger buns and meat get here. They want to make sure that they get here in time for them to be able to sell more of them. So you should have that same mentality about your business. You shouldn't just assume that all the shipping stuff is happening on its own. You should really be checking on it. So are you doing any level of auditing, checking, confirming shipments on a weekly basis or a daily basis, or whatever you feel like is appropriate? Are you doing any level of it? Or are you just assuming that things are going on autopilot? And then you're surprised by the number of return requests or refund requests that you get. Shouldn't be a surprise if you're staying on top of your business. So put the appropriate activities under the appropriate columns, because we're working to improve our business, and build a schedule so that the things that we want to improve, we put them into the schedule or the routine so that we can actually do them and do them a little bit better. Then the next thing is administrative activities. I feel like this is one that people kind of avoid for different reasons, and they don't do it as often as they should or could. So how often are you running platform reports? And are there certain platform reports that you don't even know that are available? Like, oh, okay, I just run the same 2 reports all the time. I'll never go look to see if there's any other reports available. Okay, All right. If that's the way you want to roll, that's the way you want to roll. But is there potentially an opportunity to take the other reports that are available to you and use those to help you make more money to get more sales? Probably. So, learning the platform reports or just at least running them. What are you doing? Are you doing any of the things? And if you're doing all of the, like, you're running all the platform reports and you feel like you've got a good handle on the data that's coming out of them, you understand them fairly well, and you're using the information to help you make better data driven decisions, then congratulations. That's good for you. You can put that under the already do column because you feel like it's serving you well already. You're already doing it and it's serving you well. If you're doing it and you don't feel like it's serving you well, like you could get better at understanding this stuff, then you want to put that maybe under the should or want to do. The other thing is filing taxes, doing bank reconciliation and account reconciliation, your platform accounts, budget, balancing a budget, creating a budget. Like, do you create a budget? Every method of e-commerce should have some level of a budget. So are you even creating a budget for your business? Are you reconciling that budget, balancing it out? Tracking your expenses and your receipts. How are you doing that? Do you feel like you're doing that already? Or do you feel like, okay, this is a great opportunity for me to get better at it, or it's something I need to do better because I always seem to run out of money. I don't even know where my money is going. Order inventory or checking expirations. So checking your inventory, auditing your inventory, ordering new replacements for your inventory before you get out, run out of stuff. So sometimes, people do not really check it. And then they're caught off guard because they ran out of inventory for something. Then they're mad about that. So, checking expiration dates, auditing inventory, creating standard operating procedures, especially if you plan on scaling your business. The thing is that you feel like maybe this is low hanging fruit and I really don't want to do it anymore. It's monotonous, it's tedious, and I really would love to outsource it. Then you need to begin the process of documenting it so you can hand it over to someone else to do, or documenting it so that you know what you need if you're going to outsource it to a service or a tool. Because if you write down what the procedure is and the result that you get from it, this is what you should see, then there might be tools out there that can actually satisfy that need. Streamline your life, give you some time back so that you can work on scaling your business. But you don't know that unless you document things. So standard operating procedures helps you to do that. Reviewing, auditing your prices, analyzing data, reviewing stats. Again, are these things that you do? And this is not the entire list. And by any stretch of the imagination, this is not the entire list under all these categories. But where do you feel like you fall under this? Do you feel like, okay, under administrative activities, I would give myself a C plus. If you're trying to get into A plus category, then what are the things that you need to start doing or that you should start doing? And put those under the columns that are appropriate. If you feel like you're at an A minus or a B plus, then that's fantastic. Okay. Maybe you're ready to start the process of scaling your business, or maybe you've already scaled it. And congratulations to you. So figure out where you are. Give yourself a rating, A, B, C, D, or F. If you're in the F category, there's a bunch of stuff that you need to get into the should column or need or want to start doing. And there's probably a handful of things you need to put into the need to start doing column. Okay. Then you've got customer service related activities around handling questions, returns, refunds, and reviews. So, do you have a process in place? This is a great one, potentially handing over to a VA to some extent, not all of it. So, writing a standard operating procedure around it and handing it over to a VA. Letting them handle the questions, letting them look at, the questions and be the first line of defense. So they answer the first line of questions. And if they get beyond the basics that you've given them, so maybe you've got a 10 point or 20 point, list of answers or responses that they could use from their response pool, it's fantastic. Now you can actually outsource this to somebody else. Looking at the reviews, having your VA go out there and randomly check for reviews on different platforms for your product. Again, something that somebody else can do, because sometimes those reviews are bad, wrong, incorrect. And so you can submit an appeal or a request, open a ticket, whatever it is, to potentially get that review removed or suppressed, or you can reply to it. So that's important. especially in this day and age. And then the other thing is dealing with refunds and returns. So again, letting your VA start the process of asking questions of the customer and checking things before it gets handed over to you. When it comes to anything related to money, I like to handle that myself, but I do allow the VA to go through and deal with some of it so that I can make the final decisions. So that gives me back my time and lets them go through the process. So that by the time I've gotten it, I can make the final decision. Yes, I'm going to issue the refund or return, then I need a return. Or no, I'm not. And I'm going to fight it. So what's your process? Do you even have a process? You need to establish a process, probably. The next one is education. So I feel like education is the unsung hero here. Education, and then the next one will be administrative activities. So education, why do I think it's so important? What are the things that you feel like you need to do in your business? You want to do better, want to better understand the skills you want to develop, the skills you want to learn? Probably got a list. Or as I'm rattling off this stuff, you're developing a list right now in real time. And that's okay. So what are those things that you feel like you need to do better, want to do better, want to better understand the skills you feel like you need to develop in your business? What are they? You need to write them down. And you need to work towards getting better at those activities, actions, little by little, incrementally over time. I'm going to give you a scenario. So what if you spent the entire month of June and you feel like, okay, I am doing private label, I'm also doing drop shipping, and I'm trying to think, print on demand. So let's say I'm doing those three methods of e-commerce. I'm really doing not real private label. I'm doing white label. I'm slapping my, logo and brand onto some stuff and asking them to make some slight modifications. So it's modified private label. So it's white label. In any case, I am going through that process. And I feel like I'm struggling with Facebook ads. Facebook changed the algorithm, iOS, the iPhones, like all these requirements. And so things are different. I'm not getting the results. I'm not getting the traction I used to get. So I feel like I need to invest some time in getting better at Facebook ads. So maybe I set aside 1 hour, 2 hours a week just to focus on Facebook ads. Okay. So then in the month of July, I spend 1 hour or 2 hours every single week getting better at Instagram ads. Then, which is of course on the same platform. Then in August, I spend an hour or 2 hours every single week getting better at Google ads. And then in September, I spend an hour or 2 hours every single week getting better at YouTube ads. What's going to happen to my business in Q4 if I intentionally take the time to get better at these things? So if I'm getting better at Facebook ads, I'm learning some new technique, strategy, approach, whatever, or something to analyze better every single week. I'm spending an hour to 2 hours doing that. And it's allotted time. It's committed and dedicated time. That's fine. That's fantastic. And I apply it throughout the week. So I learn the technique and I apply it in week 2, because this is the second full week of June. Then I learn another thing in week 3 on Sunday. Maybe it's on Sunday, and I apply it throughout week 3. Same thing with the beginning of week 4. On Sunday, I learn something and then I apply it throughout week 4. What's going to happen is over time, my sales are going to get better incrementally over time. So I'm taking action every single week to get better at one singular thing that I'm focusing on, one thing. And I'm applying what I'm learning immediately so that I'm making a difference in my business little by little every single week. I do the same thing July, August, and September. I'm going to, my sales are probably going to double, quadruple, 10x by Q4 because of all the little incremental things that I learned each week, and then I applied them throughout the week. So I'm taking action on the things that I learned. Sometimes we buy training videos and training programs and whatever, and we learn something and then we don't ever apply it or use it. I'm talking to somebody right now. Somebody is going preach, and raising their hand. Okay. So when you do that, I mean, it's, I'm not going to say it's a waste of money and time, because then you know what you need to be doing, but then you refuse to take the action. You need to figure out why you're refusing to take the action. Because I believe that there's a lot of training programs out there that are really good. They have really good content and strategies and techniques. But if people actually applied them and really analyzed the results and then made some tweaks to accommodate their style of business, the way they do things, their life and everything, and continue to apply pressure, they would see the results that they're looking for. But they give up. They get really close and they give up. So I feel like the schedule is going to help you to be able to be consistent and take intentional action every single week, and identifying the thing that you want to focus on to improve is going to help you as well. It's going to change your business. So if one of the things that you feel like you need to get better at every single week is analyzing the reports for the platforms in which you sell on, or learning all the reports, put that on the list. So June, every single week, I'm going to run one new report that I didn't know about on whatever platform. And then I'm going to do the same thing for July. Maybe I've gone through and burned through all the possible reports by then. Then the next thing that I might do is, again, maybe I want to get better at keyword research. Maybe right now my keyword research is not as strong as it should be. Or maybe I want to get better at creating better images or taking better photos or whatever of my products, because we know that people are visual buyers. They're going to see the image before they truly ever pay attention to the words. They're going to use keywords to search in the search engines for the different platforms. And then they're going to see a list. They're going to see products. And they're going to visually look at the products first before they even read the titles on any platform. That's what they're going to do. So if getting better at keyword research is one of the things that you want to put on your list, put that under your education and learning. This is what I want to get better at. I feel like I need to get better at titles. I need to get better at listings. I need to get better at listing descriptions. I need to get better at images, product images. What are the things that you feel like you could really improve? And if you got better at it, little by little over time, it would change your business. This is what you put in this spot. The other thing about education is it stops you from going down the YouTube vortex or whatever platform you happen to be searching on, because you could get lost and wasted in watching, 20 hours worth of videos. So in watching that 20 hours worth of videos, I can guarantee you without a shadow of a doubt that you've just made the YouTube creator a bunch of money and you have made $0. Let me just say that one more time. Whatever videos that you are binge watching over and over again, or going from video to video, shiny object, seeing another video because it's recommended in the YouTube algorithm that you are watching, and then you find yourself coming up for air 10 hours later, you've made a whole bunch of money on people online money, and you've made $0 in that window. That's why you dedicate 1 hour to 2 hours on education. You go in knowing which videos you're going to focus on. If they happen to be YouTube videos, you save it so that way you can watch that video and that video only. And then you do not get sucked into the recommended videos that show up on the side. You don't get sucked into that. You immediately apply what you learned for the rest of the week. You walk away. You watch it and you walk away. Okay, that requires a lot of self-control and a lot of discipline. And a lot of people don't have that. So maybe that's one of the things you need to develop is self-discipline and control. So don't get sucked into the vortex, or just strictly make time to buy or to watch the videos that you already bought. So commit 1 hour or 2 hours every single week to watch the videos and training that you've already bought, and then apply what you've learned that week in that video. It's a whole different approach. It's not really a new approach, because that's what you do every single day. When your kids go to school, they learn a technique of how to do math, which, of course, we're not even going to talk about Common Core. So let's just talk about reading or science or English or whatever. Let's talk about something else. But the point is, they learn something and then they apply it throughout the week. They reinforce what they learned. Same thing when you go to high school or you go to college. You learn something and then you apply it. That's the point. That's what you should be doing in your business. Clearly, that technique and strategy has worked for years, millions of years. I'm not telling you anything you don't already know. What I'm doing is increasing your awareness of the fact that maybe you had not paid attention to that in the past. So learn one new thing, 1 hour or 2 hours every single week, one new thing, and apply it every single day throughout the week. Okay? So I think that it will help you get to your $1 million status much faster than you even realize. And then the last one is marketing and traffic activities. So these are activities that, that you should be maybe doing in your business that you're not doing. You have to decide. I'm not going to tell you which column it should go under, but you need to decide. So are you running your listings through Pingler and Pink Farm? If not, put them under one of those columns. If you are, fantastic. Social sharing, creating a blog, maybe it's applicable, maybe it's not. Depends on what method of e-commerce you're doing as to whether or not that's applicable. I'm going to skip paid ads. I'm going to just talk about the organic stuff first. So email marketing and video marketing, like, are you on a platform where you're capturing the name and the email address, or are you doing anything when you send out the shipments that would entice people to come back and look for your website so they can get on your email list so you can market to them? Video marketing, again, creating a video for your product to put on your listing regardless of platform. Optimizing your listing. These are things that you can do. Getting better at that keyword research and the titles. I told you that. Also, naming your images when you create your listings. Like, a lot of people don't do that. Put that on your list. Connecting with influencers. Sometimes you can connect with influencers and it costs you $0. That's a rarity, but it can happen. And sometimes you'll connect with influencers and you got to spend money. So if you got to spend money, that's something you need to be prepared for. Running promotions on different platforms, running sales on different platforms, or offering coupons or discounts to people, depending on what platform you're selling on, or, your method of e-commerce products is applicable. So you need to decide, are you doing these things? And there's, again, this is not the entire list. There are a lot of different things. I put paid ads as the last thing, not the first thing. I put it as the last thing because I think there's a lot of things you can do to get organic traffic if you do a really good job, isolating and identifying your avatar. Once you do that, you can get organic traffic, and paid could be your last resort, not your first. So, what are those things that you're doing? And are you doing them well? If you're not doing them well, you need to revisit that. Okay. And you need to put them in your columns. So now that you have these columns and you've gone through and said, okay, Nicole, you opened up my eyes to a whole bunch of stuff I wasn't thinking about before. We're going to take this information and we're going to use it to change our business and to change our life. Okay. So the brain dump is the hardest part. Now the rest of this is going to become a little bit easier. So I'm going to reset the room. My name is Nicole Whitlock. I'm with eCom Sellers, and my passion is helping people on their e-commerce journey, helping them to get more organized, more focused, more consistent, do a better job of planning and organizing their business so that they can make the progress they want to make, get to the goal number that they're looking to get to. If you want to be $1 million seller, I want to help you get there. If you just want to make $5,000 a month, I'm going to help you get there if you will let me. So you can schedule a free 20-minute coaching session by going to ecomsellers.com, clicking on freebies, and scheduling a 20-minute coaching session right there. If you haven't already done so, grab My eCom Planner. It was created for sellers by sellers, and it's designed specifically to help you make progress, to help you to do the things that I'm talking about right now in your e-commerce business, all the stuff that I'm going through. So you can go to myecomplanner.com, grab it, and use it to help make a difference in your business right now, or help you to get on track. Because look, Q4 is going to be here before you know it. Don't let it roll up on you and go, oh, I'm not ready. Okay, I've been talking about it. Then if you need some support along the journey, regardless of your e-commerce method, whether it's drop shipping, private label, white label, print on demand, retail arbitrage, online arbitrage, thrifting, wholesale, liquidations, doesn't matter to me. We cover them all in eCom Sellers Academy. So you can join eCom Sellers Academy for $17.99 a month. You'll get 10 free retail arbitrage and online arbitrage leads that you can use right now to go make money right now, today. You'll also get 10 free, and that's every week. You get 10 free wholesale supplier lists every single week to help you get started building your wholesale supplier list or library. So grab that, and you'll gain access to all of our training videos. Go join eCom Sellers Academy right now. If you sign up for the lifetime, you get a free eCom planner by signing up for the lifetime. All right. So with that being said, now we are going to move on to taking this brain dump that we just did, and we have those two columns next to each one of those, each one of them on our spreadsheet. So we're going to organize them, and we're going to say which ones you typically do every day. So if you're going to Bible study and it's something you typically do on Sundays, or you go to your life group on Wednesdays, put it down. This is a Wednesday activity. I normally do this at 6:00. So Wednesday is in one column, 6:00 is in the next column, next to life group or Bible study. Next one is, let's say that you get up and you go for a walk every single morning. So if you go every single morning, and let's say you do it at 7 o'clock in the morning, so walking is one of the things you already do, and you're going to put down that you do it Monday through Monday or Sunday through Sunday, and you do it at 7 o'clock in the morning. It's something you already do. In other words, that's reserved or committed time. When you go through your list of things you already do and your reserved and committed time, you need to determine as you're going through this whether or not you feel like that time slot is serving you well and that activity is serving you well. Okay. What I mean by serving you well is that it flows like butter. It's something that you could do on autopilot and you don't have to think about it, and it doesn't create any stress in your life. If you are naturally already on autopilot when it comes to getting up and going for your walk every single day, and it's a habit for you, we're not trying to break a habit that actually is going to help your health, okay, or help your life, or just maybe it just resets your day. Some people meditate as they walk, they think about and visualize their day, they listen to audio, whatever it happens to be. So I'm not trying to change any of that for you if that's serving you well. If you feel like walking in the morning creates a bunch of stress because you come back to chaos, your kids have destroyed the house and it's on fire, then maybe you should consider making an adjustment. Maybe you go walk for a walk earlier in the morning, or you adjust it and do it in the evening. But again, it's something you can move around because there is some level of angst or stress associated with it. Now, I'm not going to say that there's not stress with everything, because as you're building the want and need to do out, oh my gosh, it's going to create maybe for some people anxiety and stress. I'm not trying to have you be anxious or stressed out. I'm just trying to point out these are things that you're going to work to incorporate into your life over time. It's not, you're not going to wake up tomorrow and just be like, oh, I got the perfect schedule, and it's just going to work for me. No, that's not what's going to happen. Your body and your mind is going to fight it because you're trying to get it to break a habit that you already have. If you're used to watching YouTube videos for 5 hours every single week or every single day, uh, trying to force yourself not to watch YouTube videos and to actually do something productive, your body, your mind, your routine is going to try and fight it. And so you just need to be prepared for, there's going to be days where you actually get through your schedule successfully as you start this transition. And there will be days where you will epically fail trying to get through your schedule for the day. And it's going to be okay. It's a gradual progression over time. Okay. So think about it when you were first learning how to ride a bicycle. Some people got up on that bicycle and they rode off into the sunset. And so we just said, oh, I hate them. And there were others of us who got up on that bicycle and we fell a couple of times. We skinned up some knees. We had to have somebody hold the back of it as we tried to pedal. We tried to balance. We tried to get the bike to move forward. And it looked like we were standing still. And eventually we got it. We still were a little rickety and when we were riding, and the handlebars were a little wobbly and everything was still a little wobbly. And eventually over time we got faster and better at it. And now we can ride with our hands off of off of the bicycle handles. Okay. I'm just saying it was a gradual progression over time. We didn't just wake up and master the art of riding a bicycle. And it may have taken several hours to get there, you know, and lots of trying again, or just falling off and saying, I'm done with this, and walking off and taking the helmet off and the elbow pads and knee pads and saying, I'm done with this, I'm out. So again, it's a gradual progression. You have to build up towards it. So go through and do this activity on every single one of your activities that you have under all the columns, and assign a day and time that you feel like might be somewhat realistic for you for that particular action or activity. Definitely start with the already do column because these are things that you already do in your life. And as you're doing that, make sure that you assess when you say these are things you already do, whether or not you feel like this is serving your life well and serving your business well. If it is something that is not serving your life or business well, it's not contributing in a positive way to your life and your business, probably something you should probably stop doing. Okay. You should figure out how to break that habit or routine because it's not helping you. Getting up and having a shot of gin every single day is not helping you. It is not. It is not. So you probably should stop doing that. Okay. So I'm just saying there's some things that we do. Eating 5 candy bars a day is not helping you. Okay. So if that's on your list, let's stop doing those things. All right. So now that you've assigned, what you typically do and when you actually do it, and a time, and you can, if it's easier for you to say, Instead of putting an exact time when you do it, like I do this in the evenings on Tuesday, or I do this in the mornings on Tuesday, or I do this in the afternoons on Wednesdays, like whatever that happens to be, that's easier than put that. You don't have to put a time. For some people, putting an exact time for stuff kind of sort of freaks them out because then they got to account for every single hour of their day. Whereas if you just say, you know what, I do these things in the morning, and that's when they get done. That's fine. You can be generic and have, 10 or 20 activities, or 10 activities that you do in the morning, 10 activities you do in the afternoon, and 10 activities you do in the evening. The other thing is, as you're walking through this process, you're going to identify some things that are going to be considered habits or goals, mini habits, mini goals. Um, Under your need to start doing or want to start doing column, um, you're going to identify some things that you really feel like should be mini habits or mini goals. Maybe right now you are not walking every single day, but you want to start walking every single day. You can establish a mini habit or mini goal around that. And what that is creating a goal or habit that is easy. It's too simple to fail, I guess is the easiest way to put that. So you can start off with, I'm going to walk for 5 minutes every single day. Okay, you probably already do that just getting up, going to the restroom, going to go get your food from the refrigerator and coming back. You probably already satisfied your 5 minutes. But going outside and going for a walk for 5 minutes, that's easy. I mean, you can do that. That's attainable. That doesn't mean that's where we stay. That just means that's where we start because we're just trying to build a habit. So we start off by walking for 5 minutes, and we say we're going to do that for 1 week. And then week 2, we say we're going to walk for 10 minutes every single day. Okay, now we're giving ourselves, if we're out of shape, giving ourselves a little bit of a challenge. So the 10 minutes every single day. And then maybe we do that for 2 weeks. And then the next week after that, for 2 weeks, we go for 15 minutes every single day. As you gradually build up, you get to whatever your long-term goal is. And if your long-term goal is to walk for 30 minutes every single day, now you've done it. So again, it's a gradual progression over time to get to that goal. That's starting off and building it as a habit or a routine that you want to keep, and then adding on to it little by little until you reach your goal time period. That's a mini habit or mini goal. So think about things that you feel like you could be doing better. Maybe you're not creating listings every single day in your business and you want to start doing it. You can start off with saying, I'm going to create one listing every single day. Don't overwhelm yourself. I know that's easy. Maybe. Depends on how complex your listing process is. And and then you gradually go from one listing to saying, okay, I'm going to create 3 listings every single day. Okay. Then I go to and do that for 2 weeks. And then I'm going to go to 5 listings every single day. So now you're engaging in an activity that's an income producing activity, because the more listings you put up, the more potential income you can make because people are able to find your listings. So do those things that are going to help you. Create a mini goal or mini habit around it if you feel like it's a routine that you need to establish that you're not currently, doing on a regular basis. Okay? And you really need to establish a habit around it. Start with a simple habit that's easy to fulfill and then build up and add some complexity to it. Habit stacking and or routines is putting together the sequence of activities that make sense, that logically go together, things that should go together. So you probably have, I call them routines. Okay, so the term is called habit stacking. But think about your listing routine. What is your listing routine? Do you feel like the entire routine is serving you well? Do you feel like it's taking me 1 hour to create one listing, and so I can't do this e-commerce thing because all I do is get up one listing every single day? So then maybe you need to dissect all of the action steps that you're engaging in when it comes to creating a listing. If you're creating listings where you stop and start, stop and start, stop and start, stop and start, then you're probably going to quit doing it, meaning you're not going to continue this e-commerce thing. Stopping and starting means I say I'm going to sit down and this is my listing window. I'm going to list right now from 10 a.m. until 11 a.m. and I'm not going to stop until 11 o'clock. Okay, fine. Thumbs up. I sit down and I go, I got to go in the other room and I got to go get the stuff that I'm supposed to list. Okay, well, that's your first stop because you're not really sitting down to list. You're thinking about listing, but you weren't prepared to list. So then the next thing is, I got to stop and I got to take all the labels off this stuff. If I went out and did retail arbitrage, got to clean it up so I can take pictures. I got to stop and take pictures. Okay, now I got to stop and go figure out what are the keywords to go with this listing. I got to go stop and figure out what the description should be for this particular listing. And then I got to stop and figure out how much I'm going to sell this product for. So if you got to stop all the time, that's the reason why it's taking you an hour to create a listing. because you haven't really thought through the products that you're acquiring, and or you haven't really thought through creating that listing. Before I even put things into my cart, if I'm doing retail arbitrage, I'm thinking about the entire listing process. What am I going to sell this for? What can I ship it in? Um, what do I need to do with this thing? Do I need to take a picture of it? Or do I already have pictures? Or do I have pictures that I can find online and not have to take pictures at all? What are the title? Am I going to piggyback off of an existing listing, or am I going to have to create a brand new one? I am literally thinking about all these things as I put the product into my basket physically in the store or online. If I'm doing online sourcing, whether it is online from a wholesale supplier or online retail arbitrage, online arbitrage. My point is, I'm not stopping and starting when I sit down. I've already thought through that. If I need to, when I get home, I may go ahead and prep that item and take the pictures of it immediately and put it in the right place. So put it next to my desk so that way, when I'm ready to do listing for an hour, I can just straight list. I'm not stopping and starting. I've already figured out the keywords that I'm going to be using. That information is already on the item. I've already taken all the pictures or either downloaded existing pictures. I've already figured out what description I'm going to use. I've already figured out the title. I already know what the price is. I know how I'm going to ship it. So I'm not slowing down. So that's the entire routine of creating a listing. So you need to dissect what you're doing. What is your process? And if your process could stand some improvement, this is a great opportunity to start doing that. So in that habit stacking routine, maybe fix one piece of your routine at a time, improve it so that way that routine flows much better, and you go from spending 1 hour to creating a listing a day to, hey, I can get down to 16 minutes or 12 minutes or 6 minutes. I can create a listing in 6 minutes. That's fantastic. So think about that. I think it will help you and it will serve you better as you go on that journey. The next thing, and so you can use that habit stacking or routine, analysis in anything. You could also use that in your bedtime and morning routines with your kids. If you feel like you're spending all your time getting the kids ready, it's like, oh, okay, I'll spend all my time doing that. So you could use that to help you on that journey. The next one is time blocks. I've mentioned time blocks many, many times, but just having a dedicated window or dedicated time that you're going to spend doing something, making sure you break that up with some breaks. So insert some breaks in there. If you're going to work for an hour on a specific thing, break it up into two 25-minute segments with a 5-minute break at the beginning and a 5-minute, like prepping session at the beginning in the middle, and middle and beginning. Checklist or to-do list. Some people like checklists and to-do lists better because it helps them to build momentum and feeling like, okay, I've checked this off of my list. I've made some progress today, and that's a good thing. Establishing SMART goals that are specific, measurable, attainable or achievable, realistic or relevant, timely and time-bound, extremely important. So if you want to become $1 million seller, you need to take that $1 million, and we're talking about $1 million in profit. I mean, there's a difference between $1 million in sales. Because $1 million in sales, you have to calculate what is your average ROI, not your average ROI, your average profit. What's your profit margin? So if your average profit margin is 20%, you have to take 20% of $1 million, and that's the actual money that you made, or 25% or 30% or 35% or 40%, whatever that number happens to be. You're going to take that by $1 million, and that's really your real profit. So if you're wanting to get to $1 million in sales, that's one thing. If you're trying to get to $1 million in profit, that's another. It's a completely different number. So if you're trying to get to $1 million in sales, you divide the $1 million by the remaining number of months in the year or remaining number of quarters. We could start with that to figure out what your quarterly numbers need to be, the remaining number of months in a year to figure out what your monthly numbers need to be, the remaining number of weeks in a year to figure out what your weekly numbers need to be, and your remaining number of days in a year to figure out what your daily numbers need to be. Then you have something to work towards every single day, every single week, and every single month to see whether or not you're on target. So establishing goals, SMART goals, that you can measure and see where you are in the journey is going to help you. And it will also help you over time make better data-driven decisions, establishing that as part of your routine. So once you figure out you've built out this template schedule, and you can see the schedule itself inside of the weekly planning template. You can see a draft schedule. I built two of them. One of them is for a person that's working a 9 to 5, and the other one is for a person that is a stay-at-home, the stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home dad. So you take that and you populate this spreadsheet on tab 2, and you build out the template now that you've kind of put when you do something and the day in which you do it. And if it's every day, that's fantastic. Now you can go build your schedule, and that schedule goes on tab 2. Once you build your schedule, you're going to try the schedule for at least 2 to 3 weeks, and you're going to tweak it if you need to. Do you find a schedule that works best for you and your life and your lifestyle? Keeping in mind that you may actually have a couple of different templates that you work with. Now that you have your template is your guide. So this is when I actually engage in product research. This is when I actually engage in sourcing. This is when I actually engage in keyword research. This is when I actually ship my items out. This is when I actually check to see or confirm that the shipments have been received. Like, here's all the things that I'm doing. Okay, this is when I do these things. So now that we have our template, we're going to build out our actual schedule. This is the schedule of what is the actual activity I'm going to be doing. Because saying this is what I'm going to do product research and actually knowing which products you plan on researching are sometimes two different things. So in the actual schedule, you're going to actually indicate what's the activity you're going to do. So first thing we're going to do is going to look at our monthly plan that's inside the My eCom Planner. And if you don't have a monthly plan, that's okay. I mean, we can start with you don't have one, but if you do have one, what are those income producing goals that you had for the month or that you want to establish for the month? And towards this week, so what were the income producing goals that you have for the month of June? What are your operational goals, marketing goals for the month of June? And what other goals that you have for the month of June? You want to keep that in mind as you plan out next week. Then the next thing is figuring out the priorities for the week. So sometimes the priority for the week has nothing to do with your business. If you're going on vacation the following week, then you probably should be spending the week before getting ready for that vacation. Especially if it's a road trip, you probably need to go get the tires checked, get an oil change. You don't want to be doing the week of. You don't have time for that. You'd be stressed out. Go confirm the hotel, go confirm whatever, figure out what meals you're going to, where you guys are going to eat, how much money you have planned to spend every single day on meals, all of those activities. So maybe that's your priority for the week, is to prep for the upcoming vacation. The other priority for the week from a business standpoint might be to create at least, 7 template listings. If you create 7 template listings, that gives you the opportunity with the 7 template listings to begin the process of having listings that you can just go and that you can release while you're on vacation. So that's one new listing every single day that you can just go on your phone first thing in the morning and click activate or submit, and it goes live, and it's already been created for you. Okay. I mean, you created it this week. You took intentional action. So maybe those are your 2 priorities. There could be other priorities that you have for this week that are extremely important. And so go through and establish the priorities for this week that are important based on the monthly plan and also based on what you know are coming up in your personal life. And then habits, weekly habits. What are the habits that you've established or defined for the month of June that you want to continue through the rest of the month of June? You don't create a habit in 7 days. So you can't just write down new habits every single week in your weekly planning session. These are these are habits that you're going to continue every single week. You're not going to start fresh. Oh, okay, this week I want to build a habit around this. You don't build a habit in 1 week. You don't build a habit in 7 days. You build a habit over 30 days, 60 days, or 90 days. And it's something that you consistently do every single day. If you're not doing it every single day, then you should consider continuing it for 60 days or 90 days. But if you are doing it every single day, continue it for the remaining 30 days and let's see what happens. So what are the habits that we're continuing or carrying forward into next week? We need to write those down. And then as we look at the actual, as I talked about before, the actual are the activities that you're going to engage in, the actual activities. So if I'm doing product research on my schedule, what am I researching? Am I researching products to sell for Halloween? Am I researching products to sell for Labor Day? Am I researching products to sell for Thanksgiving? Again, there's going to be a lot of food opportunity. I think people overlook that. There's a lot of food opportunity in Q4. So what products am I researching? Am I researching food related opportunities, or am I really researching something else? Then the next one is if you're saying you're going to engage in listing, so you have a time block for listing or a dedicated amount of time saying that you're going to do listing. What am I listing? Am I creating listings for what? Be intentional. We don't create listings for Mother's Day on Mother's Day. We don't create listings for Father's Day on Father's Day. We create those listings anywhere from, should be more than 2 weeks, but we'll say 2 weeks to 20 weeks before. Okay? So we create those listings in advance. And now the momentum around the velocity around Father's Day related products is continuing to get faster and faster because Father's Day is right around the corner. Okay? So people are still buying Father's Day's gifts right now. They are. And if you don't have those listings up, you probably should put them up. As long as you can get them to the customer in time before the 19th, by the 18th, and you're good to go. So what am I listing? What am I listing? If I'm saying I'm doing a listing activity, what are the products that I'm actually listing? Shipping. So what are the shipping related activities I'm actually going to be doing? Sourcing. What am I sourcing? Who am I sourcing from? And am I looking for sourcing backups for Q4? Again, sourcing related activities. What am I sourcing? Okay, and who am I sourcing from? That might be the other thing. Then the next one is learning activities or education. What am I learning? I gave you some examples of stuff that you would be learning. So you can put an education time block on your schedule and saying, this is my learning window, my education window. But then what am I learning? I'm going to be learning Facebook ads. I'm going to be learning keyword research. What am I going to be learning? Then administrative tasks. What are the administrative tasks that I'm going to be doing this week? There's probably a lot of them. I mean, you probably have more in week 1 than you do in week 2, but you do have some that you should continually do on a regular basis. So what are the administrative tasks I'm going to focus on this week? And then what are, from a standpoint of my personal life, what are the spiritual, personal, financial, fitness and health, family and household activities that I got to do this week? Okay, there's probably some specific detailed activities. So it's the what. Okay. And then last but not least, I'm going to look at my online calendar for the week, and I'm going to add those things or incorporate those things into my schedule and my routine as well. So now that I have built out I can use the actual schedule that I built out for the rest of the week, and I can use it as a reference point for my daily eCom planning session. So you've now built out your schedule for Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday by going through the weekly planning session. You built out your schedule for next week already. You can put that into your My Ecom Planner, and you can use it as a guide to follow. Yes, I'm going to be doing listing on these days, but this is what I'm listing. Yes, I'm going to be doing shipping on these days, but this is what I'm shipping. So going through those activities and detailing out the specifics. So I hope this information is helpful. As you scroll down, you can again see in the template, you can see the mock schedule that I kind of built out. It's in a Google Doc, and so it's in a Word format, not necessarily an Excel format, but you can build a schedule where on that tab 2, where you put Sunday through Saturday, and then you can put time blocks that start every hour. I wouldn't do 30-minute time blocks. I'd do every hour time blocks, and use that to help you to get on track and to stay on track, and to make progress in your business every single day towards your goals. So use the template to build the actual every single day. And with that, I hope this information is helpful. On the back end of this list is all of the goals, and this will help you with your goal, establishing goals, because there will be other types of goals that you'll create, but you can use this to help you with your goal setting and establishing goals. So I hope this information is helpful. I hope you use it to help you on your journey. I hope that it's been a blessing to you. If this is helpful to you, share it with a friend. Let somebody else know about the weekly ecom planning session. Come and join us on the daily ecom planning session. that we do around 7:15 every morning, Monday through Friday, and then also the monthly econ planning session the last Sunday of each month. So we invite you to join us. Let's start taking intentional action. It's the end of Q2. Let's finish strong, and let's make sure that we're setting the foundation and engaging in the right actions and activities to have a successful Q3. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye for now, guys. Have an extremely blessed, highly motivated, and focused and successful day. And create your schedules. Feel free to share them with me, and feel free to schedule some time if you need it. Bye for now.